and welcome once again to Random Conflux, the place where we talk randomly about random things at random times at random places.
And for those that don't understand that, welcome to Random Conflux!
I'm John,
I'm Zach. We didn't redline this time.
and we are talking once again about Power Rangers with the new...
Hey, Bailey down.
Yay, the dog's being good. We are talking once again about Power Rangers, with the new Once and Always film coming up here on April 19th. I just thought it'd be good to talk a little more about it. We talked about our expectations, our thoughts on it. We might do a little more of that, as well as talk about some more on some favorite seasons we had and things of that nature.
Yeah. Matter of fact, we did like a whole list of like what we expected from it.
Yeah.
Some comparisons between Sentai and Power Rangers.
Yeah.
And the moment I start talking, the dog ends up walking around behind me. That's perfectly fine. That's not going to be edited out at all. Actually, I'm too lazy to edit that out. That's just Panner in the background. But anyways, yeah, we just basically had a good old time talking for about, what was it, like an hour?
Hour and a half.
It was a long time. But we had a lot to say then. We probably have a lot to say now. But tonight we are especially going to talk about like seasons that we will go back, like our top 10 seasons that we would go back and watch without having to have a gun pointed to our heads. And by gun I mean blaster. That was unprofessional courtesyism from me. That was my phone being a jackass. Let me fix that problem.
Yes. But, yeah, they're not really in any particular rank, but we'll talk about some of our favorite
I
seasons.
would prefer to have them in like a rank system.
Okay.
Like the least being a 10 and the most being the 1.
Okay, so we each do a top 5? You think? Or
You think 10's too much?
we can do a top 10 total, so that works. So we can do a top 10. Okay.
I was thinking me doing 10, you doing 10. If we both do 5, like that's a top 10. But that's only a top 5 for each of us.
We could both do a top 10 then, I guess. We'll go with you first.
Well,
Starting at number 10. What do you think?
Probably Time Force.
Time Force. Okay.
I would watch that, and then 9 would be Wild Force. No, I take it back. Ninja Steel, not Ninja Steel, Ninja Storm, and then Wild Force. Then, oh, maybe I can think of 10.
So I was thinking maybe 5.
Well, I'll keep going on. So there's, what did I say?
You said Time Force. You said Ninja Storm.
Time Force, Ninja Storm, and these are the orders from least to most I would go to. Time Force, Ninja Storm, Wild Force would probably be in my top 5. My Morphin Power Rangers would probably be 9. Each My Morphin Power Rangers series, Zeo, I lost track of the numbers.
That's what I said. Maybe we shouldn't just rank. We should just three.
But I'm still going from least to
Yeah.
most.
Yeah.
And then, Lightspeed Rescue, SPD. Did I say Wild Force?
Yeah, you said Wild Force. Right?
Okay. And then, like, Power Rangers Turbo is, like, my most go-to to watch. Actually, I like that more than most people because
There's reasons.
there's reasons. Plus, I really do think, like, Blake did an awesome job with Justin Stewart. Like, it could have been worse.
I actually did find out why they wanted a kid to be one of the Power Rangers.
It was to get more of a child audience.
Yeah. Plus, Beetleborgs at the time was doing better than Power Rangers.
Yeah.
And they wanted
they had child actors.
Yeah. Now, with me, I'm in a similar boat as you are. I didn't really get into Lightspeed Rescue, but I stopped mid-season, so I need to go back and watch the rest of it. But I liked Time Force. I liked, Wild Force was good. The acting got a little better nearer to the end, but you know what I mean?
Well, with Wild Force, the beginning was very heavy, like, hard acting.
Yeah.
Like, you could tell it was...
But it got better.
Overacting. Same with Mystic Force. Like, Mystic Force was too OP on the acting.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of turned me away from Mystic Force.
Mystic Force had a decent story, though. I need to go back and finish it myself.
Yeah, but the acting was... I would say too over-exaggerated.
Yeah. But you can say that for a lot of seasons, but I understand.
Hell, I over-exaggerated the intro to our video. So...
Yeah. Now, Time Force had a really good season overall.
Yeah. That, I believe, had a really good story. It had really good acting in it.
And then one I haven't seen a lot of, but I know you like, SPD. That's in your top 10, probably.
Yeah. And it's in my top 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the original Mighty Morphin. Obviously, it's one of my favorite seasons. I like it clear up the turbo as well. In Space was decent. I didn't think it was the best season, but there's a lot of people that do think it's one of the best seasons.
Well, In Space was a catalyst to really starting, like, Lost Galaxy and then...
all the other ones,
Yeah.
Because that's what started, like, hey, we can do these one-off seasons of Power Rangers and still make it good.
Yeah. And they were already doing that over in Japan anyways with Sentai. Mm-hmm. It just took them longer to realize, we don't have to worry about overpaying these actors or budget cutting these actors because we can just say, fuck it. Use the actors to the end of the season and then throw them off set afterwards. And that's been Saban's thing ever since.
Yep, that said, speaking of the Sentai footage, I've been rewatching the original Sentai, and I watched, like, some of the series, but didn't finish, like, the original, like, Z-Ranger. Mm-hmm. And, it's a lot darker in some ways. There's, it's weirder in other ways, but it's a lot darker in some ways. Like, for instance, the Green Ranger, in that one, you know, the candle made him lose his powers in the original, right?
Yeah.
And the Power Rangers. In the Sentai, that candle, that burning was as long as he had to live. And every time he left the area where the candle would burn a little bit more. And he only had, I think, like 30 hours. That's also why Tommy was always late to stuff, because they had to go by the Sentai footage for the fights. They only had so much Green Ranger footage to show.
Yeah.
That's why he was always late in the middle of the fights and all that stuff.
But that's also why he kicked ass.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Tommy, like, Jason David Frank, great actor, had some emotional problems.
Yeah.
And we all seen what happens from there if you don't get the help that you need.
Yeah.
So
we have a whole video on it. Please.
Yeah, please go watch it. There's plenty of information in the description of the video that may help you. Help hotlines.
Yeah. Even if you don't watch it, there's hotlines or people we can talk to.
Yeah. It doesn't matter what you're going through. Please, for your sake and the sake of those that care about you, and I'm pretty damn sure that someone out there cares about you, please get help.
Yeah.
Because it's worth it in the long run.
Yes.
Talking from experience, it's worth it in the long run.
Yeah.
Back to the subject at hand.
You want to secretly be a Pink Ranger, don't you, Zach?
Oh yeah, totally.
Comments below, Zach Pink Ranger. Fan art, please. I'm joking.
One series that never had a Yellow Ranger.
Okay, I'm trying to think of one. Maybe Dino Charge? Did it? I can't remember.
No.
Okay.
Dino Fury.
That's what I meant. Or no, Dino Fury had a Yellow Ranger.
No. Dino Charge had a Yellow Ranger.
Dino Fury had...
Dino Charge had a Yellow Ranger, which was Australian.
Okay, yeah, you're right about that. But Dino Fury...
He's half Australian, half Irish, if I'm not making a mistake in that category. But yeah. Dino Fury is the only season that...
Oh, yeah, the Green Ranger was a girl. Instead of yellow, it was green.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, I did
They
think
had
about
a pink, but not a yellow.
Yeah.
And it's the only one that never had a Yellow Ranger.
And then something interesting with that, too, now that I remember. In the Sentai footage, the Green Ranger was male, but they made it female in America, which is kind of like a throwback to the original series where the Yellow Ranger in the Japanese footage was male, but America was female. They used more original footage so you can tell it was easy in the American. I mean, in the Fury, but yeah.
It's one of the reasons why she decided to rip off the skirt.
Yeah. But
she's like, I don't need this thing.
It was just something kind of funny.
But, yeah, it's the only season of Power Rangers that never had a Yellow Ranger. There are seasons where the Yellow Ranger has not always been the female. But every season of Power Rangers has had a Yellow Ranger. If they did not have a Pink Ranger. And most of them that had 3 Rangers to 5 Rangers always had a red, a blue, a pink, and a yellow.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think ones that didn't. Ninja Storm did not have a Pink Ranger.
It had red, blue, and yellow, and the Blue Ranger was a girl.
Yes, and it also had another blue and red ranger, the Crimson and Navy, but they were.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I think that's the only season that only had one girl on a team.
Well,
because all the other ones had at least had 2 girls.
No, Beast Morphers.
No, Beast Morphers had 2 girls.
It had 1 girl on the team.
No, it had. I'm trying to think.
I'm pretty sure Beast Morphers had 1 girl, and she was the Yellow Ranger. The one that had the red hawk.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Beast Morphers had 1 girl. I was thinking it had 2, but no, the 6th Ranger in Beast Morphers was the Silver Ranger that was a robot.
They only had 5 Rangers.
No, they had 6, but one of them was a robot that could morph.
No, that was the 5th Ranger.
No, I got
They
it
only
right.
had red, blue, yellow, gold, and silver.
You're right. Okay. I'm actually wrong on that. You're right on that one. I was double checking myself.
Arguing with me when I know what's up. But yeah, anyways, like, I know my shit about Power Rangers.
I usually do.
I'm not as familiar with Sentai, even though I do know it.
I'm not as sure about Jungle Fury. I know it started out with 1.
Jungle Fury started out with 1 girl and stayed with 1 girl.
It did? Okay. I'll have to go back and watch it.
The other girl was not actually a Power Ranger. She was just a helper around the base. So technically you can't count her. It had red, yellow, blue.
And then it got like a purple and a couple other ones, but they were all...
Purple and white.
Yeah.
And can't really call him orange, even though he did have orange in his outfit. The Rhino Ranger was considered a White Ranger. But for main cast like that, you have your core 3, and then you have 2 kind of 6th Ranger characters.
And then, in the case of Ninja Storm, they got a true 6th Ranger later on.
Yeah. Because technically the core 3 was supposed to be a team up with the core 2.
Yeah.
And like the Ninja Storm and the Thunderstorm Rangers were supposed to be like a duo team, and then like later on the Samurai Ranger was supposed to come.
In case you're wondering why we're rambling, we didn't have anything planned for this, so we're just kind of winging it. So yeah, continue. You said the Sixth Ranger came later on.
Yeah, but in the Sentai footage, there were 3 different claims. There was the Wind Academy, the Thunder Academy, and then the Samurai Academy. And yes, they all helped each other out, but they didn't have a problem fighting each other on, like, who was going to get who. And they had a common enemy, but they also seen each other as rivals. And that's one thing that they were trying to get off with the Thunder Rangers coming in as bad guys in the first place.
Yeah.
Because that's how the Sentai footage was.
Yeah. Now here's something. Your favorite villain?
Tommy.
Really? He counts technically because he was a villain at one time.
Yeah. He was my favorite villain.
He's also one of the few that actually came close to beating the Power Rangers.
He's also the only Ranger that didn't need a Megazord. He was able to grow!
Yeah, in one scene, yeah.
No, there were a few times where he fought.
Yeah,
like a few episodes where he actually grew instead of using a Megazord.
And actually saw when they did that in the Sentai footage, and it was just as awesome in Sentai.
Like, they had one episode where it was just him battling the Megazord. And then they had another episode where it was him and the Green Dragon Megazord together. Like, he grew and he called the Green Dragon Megazord. And then that was burning out the candle faster. And then, like, he started using the Green Dragon Megazord for the rest of the fights afterwards. Until they
Dragon Sword, not Dragon Megazord.
Yeah, Dragon Sword. But that was until they broke the Sword of Evil.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, Tommy was one of my favorite evil Rangers. Or villains, if you want to just go down that route.
There were some really good villains in Power Rangers. I know another classic one that was awesome was Zed. Like, when he first showed up.
Yeah, Zed was kind of a badass. But he gave little kids nightmares.
Yeah.
They had to tone him down big time.
Yeah, he was a good one. Most of the villains were decent. Masterwork from Wild Force was a decent one.
Zenaku from Wild Force.
Oh, yeah, definitely. He's another one that came close to beating him.
Yeah, he's one of the badasses. But I would say, like, the Rangers that started off evil and went to being good, like, they were the only ones that came the closest to destroying the Power Rangers.
On a similar note, what do you think about Corone from In Space? Because in the next season, Lost Galaxy, she became good and became a Power Ranger.
Actually, she came good in middle of In Space.
But then she was corrupted again. She was brainwashed. And
she was tricked the first.
Yeah.
And not knowing that her brother was the Red Ranger.
Yeah, and then she became good, but was kidnapped and brainwashed and became evil again.
Yeah, and the thing is, the first time it was all her hatred towards the people that killed her brother.
Yeah.
And when she found out the Red Ranger was indeed her brother and not an imposter, she didn't have to fight to turn good because it was already good inside of her.
Yeah.
She just wanted to protect her brother.
Yeah.
And then when they realized, well, that was too easy to change her, that she did need the brainwash and the brain control, or mind control, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I would say her as a good character.
Yeah.
Like, the first half of that season, I actually liked her arc.
Yeah. Now she's the only that's also the only time that I know of where a character was a villain in one season but a ranger in the next. You know what I mean? Like, there's times in the same season where they became good, but not, like, from one season to the next when it was a different story. You know what I mean?
Well, they're... No, that was Sentai. That wasn't Power Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about the... That's not even Sentai at all. Well, it's technically Sentai, but it's not from the Power Rangers legacy of Sentai.
The one that comes...
It's, It's from what Beetleborgs, came off of.
Yeah. Now, there was one that came close. It wasn't... They didn't become a Ranger, but in between Wild Force and Time Force, because Time Force came right before Wild Force, in the crossover episode, the villain of Time Force chose to help out the Wild Force Rangers because he turned a new leaf at the end of Time Force, right?
Yeah.
And he actually, I forget exactly how it happened, but he actually got cured of his mutation in that episode too.
You may be right about that.
He didn't become a Ranger, but he did help him out.
Well, I knew about that. I just didn't know if he got cured of his mutation.
Yeah.
I know that the storyline from the comics was pushing towards him getting a cure, them working on a cure.
Yeah, he got cured in Wild Force. It was like the spirits in Wild Force, like giving him a gift for helping out. If I remember right,
it might be.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that the Silver Guardians were trying to find him a cure. Like, they were researching the cure in present day so that they would have a cure for him when, like, during the future.
Yeah.
Where he came from.
And then he actually chose to live out. He was happy doing his sentence. He wanted to repent.
Like he said, if the future could change for him, he would enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
He would love to see what would become of him if he never had the mutation.
Mm-hmm.
But he wished his new self the best of luck. And I think that's the only season where someone has ever said that line.
Yeah, he's also the. It's also one of the only. Forgot where I was going with that. It was something, and I completely forgot.
But I would say another great thing about Power Rangers is, in a way, they did kind of cater to the audience to an extent.
They brought Tommy back when he was supposed to be on VR Troopers.
Multiple times they brought Tommy back. But the reason why I brought up Big Bad Beetleborgs is because the Beetleborgs Metallics, which was in the Japanese footage, that was the second season. But they started out in the first season as bad guys. And the reason why the Green Hunter Ranger was in Forever Red was because...
Actually, double check me, but I'm pretty sure after looking this up, Forever Red was completely filmed in America.
I know, but they did do some stock footage. It's one of the reasons why the whole episode was pretty much on the moon. It was on a green screen. But there is equal footage, but it's not Forever Red. It's like it was like a whole different cast, but that was the Japanese footage that was shot.
Yeah. Speaking of, plus they had the Beetle War outfit still.
Because they did Forever Red here, and then they did a similar anniversary for the Sentai over in Japan, and it was a similar crossover.
Yeah. Now something.
And it had a sort of like a similar background, but slightly altered. So it wasn't like Forever Red. It wasn't just a bunch of teams, like the bunch of Red Rangers from each team. It was like different teams through up until that episode.
Well, speaking of which, something.
Well, I was getting
okay.
to the point where I was
Sorry.
talking about the Green Hunter Beetleborg being in there, and it's because the season before that, in the Japanese footage, he was turned evil. So his character was technically part of the same line as the Black Shadowborn. So in the Japanese footage, in the American footage, it was just whatever suit was seen.
Now, if we're wrong on anything, let us know. But Zach knows his stuff for some of this. Now, one thing I was watching, you know, MMPR Toys, right? The channel. Yeah. He worked on multiple seasons of Power Rangers as one of the prop guys, and he actually knows this. He was talking about how often the actual toys were used instead of the actual like show props because it was just easier to get the toys sometimes.
Yeah.
In Forever Red, they actually used the toy guns, and because it worked. And then there was another thing where in Zeo with Billy, and he when Billy was working on the like combined like gun that was made out of all the Ranger weapons, it was a toy that he was working on.
Yeah.
And you wonder why it was so smaller. Just
why was it smaller?
But yeah, and there's a few instances with that, or even with the morphers. Sometimes they'll buy the toy ones if they lose the props, or
or they'll buy, or they'll go to the factory and get like the coins if the coins were ever lost.
Yeah. Now even in Forever Red, not Forever Red, yeah. Even in Once and Always, if you look closely, the coins that they're using are the Legacy morphers.
Mm-hmm.
Which is cool.
They're shinier.
Oh, they made a shiny voice version of the Legacy morpher. The one I have is like the Wither ones, but they have a shiny one.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. They were shinier.
Yeah.
But I also know how they did the destruction version of the morphers, the one that Adam uses. They took a burning tool to it.
That's cool.
And melted certain parts and made different designs in it.
That's cool.
To make it look like it was breaking. And the reason why I know that is because that's where I learned how to use a burning tool.
Good for you.
Yay!
But nah, back to.
But I didn't actually do that on set. But I watched someone do it from the set when they were actually doing it. So that was something that was. The product was done on the set of Turbo, but wasn't seen until I believe
it was in space when it happened. It was on in space. Adam came back for one episode. And
I thought it was Overdrive where the morpher was broke.
No, it was originally broke on in space. He came back for but yeah, he came back for one episode of in space. Carlos needed some like guidance and training. He wanted to improve himself, so he went over to Adam. So Adam was training him, and there was a whole montage with it, if I remember right. But there was a problem that one of the villains came back, and so Adam morphed to help out.
Because Carlos accidentally hurt, I believe it was Casey.
Yeah.
And he felt bad about it, and he wanted to stop being a ranger.
Yeah.
And Adam came back long enough to kind of get his ass in gear and get him back into, being a Power Ranger again.
Yeah.
And saying like, hey, that's my shirt. And saying that mistakes happen even for Rangers. You can't be perfect all the time.
Yeah. And that's actually a good lesson for real life because it's true. You can't be perfect all the time. Even think of somebody who you are inspired by.
Perfect or inspired by, like Jay said.
We all have our flaws.
Like, I'm not perfect. My brother's not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Those watching, as much as you want me to say, you're not perfect.
Yeah.
As much as you want me to say you are, like no one really is.
Now that said,
Everybody's got a flaw. Everybody's got some sort of thing that they get wrong.
yeah.
Well,
And I think it was Sigmund Freud that stated that everybody's got something wrong with them mentally. It's like
yeah.
yeah. It's like nobody's 100% perfect at 100% of it, all of the time. It's like,
You're pushing me further away from the mic.
oh, sorry, man. But kind of going on a tangent here, but
yeah,
we all make mistakes. We're only human. It's just yeah.
But you can't always let your mistakes get you down.
No,
you have to learn what your mistake was.
Yeah.
Learn how to, or try to learn from your mistakes.
You overcome the mistake. You learn from it, and you get better because of it.
Yeah. You don't let the mistake hold you back, because if you make a mistake and you stop because you're too afraid of making a mistake again, then you're never going to accomplish what you want to accomplish. Matter of fact, it's a good segue into a friend of ours. He doesn't drive because of a mistake he made when he was a driver, but that's as far as I'm going to get into that.
Yeah, and yeah.
But that's a mistake that's holding him back.
Yeah, you overcome the mistakes.
Anyways, like we were saying, sorry about all the interruptions. But yeah, you can't let your mistakes hold you back, because if you make a mistake and you're too afraid of making the same mistake again, then you're not going to learn and you're not going to go anywhere. Mm-hmm. You have to make mistakes in life so you can push forward and learn from the mistakes you make. Mm-hmm. Parents aren't perfect. Kids aren't perfect. Nobody in the world is perfect. There's not a guide to life.
Yeah.
You just have to live the one you got.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in that episode, like,
yeah,
that really shows the tell of normal life. When you make a mistake that can possibly hurt someone, mm-hmm, or get someone killed, and this is something that actually military people have to overcome, because what if you do friendly fire on an ally by mistake? Like, you're not perfect. A gun can jam. A friend can get hit. Like, mistakes can happen.
Yeah, and sometimes they can be big mistakes, but you learn to overcome.
And you have to kind of look at Power Rangers sort of like a military group, because if that was a real thing, mm-hmm, if that was real life, and of course, like, that would be military control, mm-hmm, and they would be military operatives, but they're still living people.
Yeah, and it's not the only episode of that. That's the only episode I can think of like that, but there's multiple episodes where they had to overcome mistakes that they've made that have hurt a ranger or a civilian at the same time. That's happened multiple times too.
I think it's went as far back as MMPR.
I think. I can't remember, but I think so.
Matter of fact, I think the first person to deal with that mistake was Tommy.
Oh yeah, like him dealing with like the law,
being evil,
yeah,
and then turning good, because like he had the memories of what he did when he was a bad guy.
Yeah, and then another example when MMPR was Kat when she came in.
Like, she knew exactly what she did, but she turned good on her own.
Yeah.
She never lost her memories, but she had to push past her boundaries.
Yeah. To
become a ranger, because Kimberly had the faith in her.
Yeah.
She didn't have the faith in herself to be a ranger.
Yeah.
And
she was and she ended up being one of the longest running rangers as far as Power Rangers goes, because she went from the end of Mighty Morphin clear up to the beginning of Turbo, so that was actually a long time.
Well,
I said one of the longest running rangers. I didn't say the longest. I said one of them.
No, the longest running Pink Ranger was Kimberly.
Yeah, I said one of. No, Kimberly went for 2.5 seasons. Well, 2 and.
Well, she went for the full 3 seasons.
Yeah, she came near the end of. She left near the end of Mighty Morphin season 3, so she was there for the majority of it.
I thought she was there for the full season 3.
No, the end of season 3, she left, and then Kat was the Pink Ranger for about 8 episodes. The dog is doing strange things in the background.
You don't want to know what that sound is in the background. Just muffle your ears, ladies and gentlemen.
Just doggy is doing doggy things. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
But back to what we were saying. We're talking about cats right now.
Yes, but not dogs. Cats.
But yeah, she was in, I believe, 8 episodes of Mighty Morphin, and then she was in All of Zeo and Path of Turbo, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was. Well, if you look at it that way, then they're tied.
Yeah.
So the longest ever Ranger was actually Tommy.
Yeah. Oh, there's no doubt. There's no question he was the longest running Ranger, and he's been in the most seasons. He was in Mighty Morphin, Clear Up the Turbo, and then came back multiple times.
I mean, like, continuously the longest running Ranger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he was green, then he was white, then he was red, then turbo red, and then that was it.
Yeah. Now the person that. No, yeah, he was the longest. I was gonna say maybe Billy, but no. The ones that, like, in order for the longest, I think it's like Tommy, Billy, not as a Ranger, but in the show. Then it was, I think, Adam, Rocky.
Well,
Cat,
Adam came back a lot for, like, voice work.
Yeah.
Along with Water Jones, but if you're looking at them,
no, I was talking about it like as a Ranger
themselves. Like, yeah, they're up there with Jason David Frank.
I mean,
when I say we're random Conflux, I really mean we're random Conflux. Random topics, random places, random things happening in the background.
Well, he's passed out now.
I think he wore himself out. And if you're not previous to the joke, and that's probably because I paused the recording.
The doggy was doing doggy things.
He was doing things doggy style. Let's just put it that way. That'll probably get me kicked off YouTube. Oh, brother.
The dog was in the background, and he was licking and cleaning things that doggies do.
Let's just stop there. Just continue with the topic.
Okay, so this is my theory for the next season of Power Rangers, right? They're going to morph by shooting energy out of their belly buttons to connect to the morphing grid.
Yeah, I can see that.
And
Evil Rangers.
And when they morph, they're gonna scream "Shabalaba Ding Dong."
Okay, so that's. Sorry, GTA. We just stole your influence.
Was that on GTA?
Yes.
No, Hasbro.
That was literally like a show that you can watch on GTA. So, like,
I was just
when you're playing GTA Online, it's actually like I forget what it's called, but it was like Rainbow something.
Okay.
But they were homophobic. It was like all the pacifists, but like they were for every bad thing.
Everything they thought was bad, we should say.
They were, to them it was good, but it was like Power Rangers, but so much on like,
steroids?
No.
Bad things?
No. I'm looking for words. Hold on. The word is baby boomers. Yeah, baby boomers. It was like Power Rangers made out of baby boomers. And those that don't understand what baby boomers means,
baby boomers were anybody born in the 1960s.
I mean, like, people that are homophobic, racist, sexist, or too much in the woman power.
Here's the thing, though. Baby boomer also refers to anybody born in the 1960s, so you can't really just say that. But I know what you're going with, but that's...
But that's kind of what I was seeing from that.
But anyways.
But that's just a perfect segue into Power Rangers with naval cannons.
Hasbro, this needs to be a thing.
Please, Hasbro. And plus, give us credits. It's our idea.
With that, I think we should actually end this. Because we're going 40 minutes of nothing, or do you want to keep going?
I think we should actually say something that's relevant.
Yes, Once and Always is going to be awesome. There we go. No.
Okay, actually, tune in to the next one.
Hopefully
because, actually, we're going to record 2 today.
Maybe.
Possibly put both of them up. I don't know. But if you're still listening, that means you want to hear more. So, hit that like button, ring the bell notification, hit the subscribe button like a boss. And
what if you want to not be a boss? What if you want to be gentle?
Then
and start rubbing the subscribe
button. Then slowly and calmly hit that thumbs down button. Show us, like, you don't want us popping up on your radar.
But what if they like it, but they want to be gentler than slapping the subscribe button?
Then
they want to
gently caress the subscribe button. That's a lot more gentle than just slapping that subscribe button across the face like a boss. But that's the best way to do it, man.
What if you want to eat the subscribe button? Can you do that? Can I eat it?
I don't know.
What would the subscribe button taste like?
Like YouTubers' tears and the audience laughter.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I actually want to try that now.
Comments below, what do you think the subscribe button tastes like?
Just give it a good old lick. Go to your screen on your phone or on your tablet or your laptop or your computer or your TV and just lick that like button or subscribe button
this
on the face.
Disclaimer, we do not promote this, and we are not responsible if you do this and your phone gets ruined. Or tablet or whatever.
He doesn't promote this. I actually kind of do. But that would be fun just for me to watch. But like always, have a nice time. And may the power be with you.
May the power protect you, you mean. So may the power protect you.
Oh, okay. I got the line now.
May the force be with you. May the power protect you. For Star Wars, it's force be with you. For Power Rangers, it's may the power protect you.
I was going to do something funny. Ah, screw it. Just say goodbye, Vegeta.
Okay. Goodbye, Vegeta. I'm so confused. Why am I even in this? Isn't it even Dragon Ball? It's Power Rangers.
We need a Vegeta character for Power Rangers. I'm just gonna leave it as that. Say goodbye again, Vegeta.
Bye.